All right, will you stand with me? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can I have roll call, please, Mary?
Mayor Adrian Sandoval.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Larry Clark.
Here.
Harold Leggett.
Present.
Nick Ralston.
Here.
Spencer Bradnan.
Here.
Troy Blum.
Here.
Hope Morris.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. A second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, audience participation. We have a few things tonight. First, we're going to be bringing up the Platteville Youth Coalition and their oath of office. Mr. Barron?
You ready?
Yes.
So thank you again, Mayor Sandoval and the council and everything. This is our second year, and I know that the elementary came last year, and then we wanted to get the middle school involved. So I'm going to introduce the teachers who are in charge of this, and then they'll introduce the kids, and then we have a little gift. So, all right. So the first one up, I'd like to introduce Jeanette Gilbert, the counselor at the elementary school.
Again, I want to thank you guys for letting us be part of this again, because the kids enjoy it, we enjoy it, so thank you for letting us be part of this. So up first, we have Kendra Steve, and she is our student council communication reporter. So she's going to let you know what we've been doing at our school.
And I'm going to get a chair here.
Stand on it.
Yeah.
There's a picture put on Facebook.
Yes.
This proves how short I am. Hello, I'm Kendra Steve, and I am from Platteville Elementary School. I am the communication reporter of Student Council. Here are some things we have been working on at PES. In September, we participated in Homecoming Week. We had a good turnout for the carnival. We have also recently started the canned food drive, and we have also collected over 700 cans. It goes until December 14th. The winning class will be awarded with a pizza party. This past Friday, our kids enjoyed a movie with the South Valley. Everyone enjoyed The Incredibles too. I am very excited that I got to come share the great things that have been happening with PES.
All right, and so our facilitator, our leader at the middle school is Christine Cooper.
Hi, thank you for having us. I have with me tonight two of our student council representatives. I have Adriana, who is one of our co-presidents, and Samantha, who is our communication person.
Oh, you need a check?
No.
Okay.
My name is Adriana Paniela. I am the co-president of South Valley Middle School. I ran for president to give my classmates an opportunity to have more freedom, and I want to make an improvement on the town of Platteville. I am looking forward to working with the town of Platteville in the future. My name is Samantha. I am a reporter, and we have done the carnival movie night, and we are planning on doing a father-daughter dance. We brought Thanksgiving meals to the police department and fire department. We are looking forward to working with the town of Platteville. Finally, we would like to present from both of our student councils a gift to the senior center.
So maybe who we have?
Noreen and the seniors, you want to stand, please?
So last year we presented the senior center with enough money, hopefully, to get a nice coffee maker.
Yes.
And actually I've been invited to enjoy a cup, so that's nice. So we understand that you need a bus to get to Black Hawk. No. Okay, sometimes. But,
once a month.
okay, just stop by the school and pick me up, anyway. But we have a little bit of money here to go towards your bus, okay?
Oh, wow.
So Troy said to give that to you.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you very much, and we will be back 3 more times?
Wonderful.
Or maybe twice, or, oh, we have to
Swear them in.
swear them in, don't we?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming.
Give that. Want the check?
Oh, sure.
Can I duplicate this?
Yeah. Try to catch that. All right, girls, you get sworn in as honorary.
Do you want to do them all at once or one at a time?
I don't know. Let's do them all at once, how's that?
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'll give you this little hand along. I'll say I, and then you say your name, and then you'll just go on through, okay? That's correct, right? And when you're done, if you can sign these, or do you want to take with you? Okay. Ready? Parents, can you get out of the way? Okay, raise your hand, please. Your other hand.
Right.
I, state your name,
I, Samantha Long,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
That I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America
the goals of Weld RE1 School District,
and the goals of Weld County RE1 School District,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of Student Council Representative
of the office of Student Council
to the Town of Platteville,
to the Town of Platteville,
to which I have been duly appointed.
to which I have been duly appointed.
All right, you're official. Come on, and I have a pen, you can sign this.
We'll keep working towards your bus, okay? I will.
It's wonderful.
No?
Okay, now we
Good.
should do-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
very much. You guys are seriously out of that.
We're done. You're done for the week? I was done 4 hours.
Now it's official though.
You've been done since last Friday. Nobody.
No, David.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, now we'll go to Middle South Platte River Alliance presentation.
Hi everybody, I'm Rose Fry and I'm the new watershed coordinator with the Middle South Platte. I don't know how long this has been since anybody's come to talk to you guys and present any information to you. I'm not sure about that, so I thought we would introduce ourselves and let you know what we're up to and see if you would like to participate with some of the things that we're doing. So what we're all about is just making sure that this river is healthy. We were started right after the flood to be flood recovery and flood recovery. So we've been doing a few ditch diversion structures and some stabilization of some banks and, things like that. This was just a quick snapshot of one of the roads and the damage that was done by the flood. So what we're all about is really working together with as many of the stakeholders as we can. So we don't want to just force an environmental viewpoint on the area. It's really all about how to make this river work for everybody. So we're dealing with landowners, ditch companies, local government, definitely farmers, ranchers that are all on this river. We're all gonna have to use it, so we're gonna figure out a way to make it work as best as it can in its current state. So, the wrong direction, let's see. So since we were started, we've done a few pretty good things. This one was a study about sediment transport. I don't know how many of you have to deal with this, but the ditch companies have to clear out sediment all the time. It's a really big maintenance problem. So figuring out how the river deposits and how it takes away sediment is really important to understand that hydrological action. And I'm not a scientist, so some of these words I don't even, I might not pronounce them correctly, but there's a lot of science that has gone into this. And actually, we just talked with UNC up in Greeley, and they're going to be taking this hydrological study and moving forward. So they're going to take little spots on the river and study the sediment there and see if the modeling can predict what's going to happen with this kind of flow rate, that kind of flow rate. So we're going to be able to help landowners and ditch companies improve things a little bit there. This is also another stretch that we took care of along Highway 60 up a little further, up 85 at Milliken. This was a problematic area. The bridge there is going to be rebuilt, but what happened was the river was completely moved. So it wasn't going under the bridge anymore. It was going like around the side. Well, we can't have that. So we put in these things called weir baskets, I think is what they're called, and to redirect the channel, and then they put in some structures to keep the erosion under control, and in fact we're going to be putting in some plants actually on Friday also to stabilize things. So then this is the first one of our ditch diversion structures that is being replaced, and it's going to do a world of good for the Latham Ditch Company. Better water delivery, reduced maintenance and sediment in the ditch. And we've got little sections where the fish can swim through and boats, they're going to be shoots there too. So we're trying to get, not only practical things, but recreational activities too. That's something that I know that this area of the Platte just doesn't have a whole lot of public access. So this is our way to at least start that conversation and let the recreators and the fish go. This one is another ditch diversion, the Godfrey ditch diversion. It's the same kind of thing. And it's important to know that water rights are all going to be maintained. No matter what we do to this river, whoever's got the senior rights is going to keep the senior rights. Nothing of that nature is going to change. So this is just a few slides about this Highway 60. We increased the water habitat, putting in native plants, bank stabilization, all sorts of stuff. So there were a lot of different objectives on this stretch of the river, and we're still working on it. We finished the construction, but we are, like I said, Friday, there's a bunch of volunteers that are coming. We're planting willows, and then in the spring we're going to be planting woody shrubs and things like that. So it will maintain the bank there for perpetuity anyway. So 3/4 of a mile of stabilization, 1,300 grasses, lots of seed, and these weirs. Apparently these midway weirs are really state-of-the-art, which I thought is pretty cool. The CWCB is going to come out in the spring and see how they work. They're going to show their engineers, this is how this thing works, and here's how it's changing the direction of the river flow. So anyway, we're all about making this river work. This is the end product of it right now without the plants on it. But what we've got is just an improved water delivery along that stretch. So the next thing that we're taking on right now is something called a stream management plan, and it's not a government initiative. It's something that we as a coalition and all of the stakeholders want to put into place so that we can make this river protect it, and we protect the health of it too. So it's not just the water flow, but the quality and the aquatic life and the riparian life, all those things. And it's for everyone. It's not for one group of stakeholders, it's really all of us. So municipalities are just as important as the landowners and just as important as the fish companies. So we're all trying to get after the same thing, a healthy corridor. So we're going to do that with extensive collaboration. So the stream management plan is going to take us at least a year, and we're really going to go around and have meetings and surveys to find out what everybody wants, what their biggest concerns are, what their needs are, what's not being met, what we can improve. We're going to gather all of that information. And so that's really what we would like to ask you guys. We're going to invite you as one of the key stakeholders to have someone come to these meetings and tell us what it is that Platteville needs and what it is that's not working for you on this river. We're going to get everyone that we can, every type of user, and like I said, it's going to take a year, and it's not a government initiative. Some people who are landowners, they're concerned about someone else coming in and telling them what to do with their property, and that's not what this is about at all. It's really just about trying to maximize the flow rates, the retention of any kind of excess flow. We need to put in some areas where we can do some storage. We're just going to figure all of that out, how we can maximize the use of that water. So how will it help you? Well, there are going to be a few economic benefits and then also environmental. So we're still working on flood resiliency, stream flow, and access for recreational use, and just basically the efficient and wise use of water for both agriculture municipalities. And as I mentioned, we've got fish passages going in, and I don't know if you know, if any of you all are fishermen, but the native fish around here really want 40 miles or at least of river. 20 to 40 miles is what they want. What they don't have that now because it's all broken up by ditches. So with these little fish passages, when we got these two in, they're gonna have 12 miles, which is something that they haven't had in decades. So it's a great thing for the fish, and it really doesn't cause any trouble for the ditch company. So it's a win-win kind of thing. So we're putting those kinds of things in, making sure that the birds have the spots where they need to, the migratory birds, they all want to land either in the river or to the east side of the river, and we need to make sure that their habitat is maintained. So how can you help? We would really like for you to send someone to come to these stakeholder meetings if you can. It's just really important that everybody is represented because we don't want to put the wrong things in place because then there's going to be problems in implementing it. And so we really want to make sure that we address everything that you're concerned about. And we haven't decided, in fact, that's going to be one of the things that the first meetings decide is how often should we meet. Do we have the time to meet once a month, or should we do it bi-monthly, or really even quarterly? Whatever works for everybody's schedule. If it's quarterly, they're going to be really long meetings, but we'll do whatever the group feels is important to do. And we are going to be asking for citizens to put in their ideas. We have a Survey Monkey kind of thing, but we don't have people's email addresses, so that might be something you can help us with, or you could administer it through your channels. We don't have to do it, but we're going to have that as part of the element coming out to the public. It's just sending out a survey. And a couple of things that you could help us with, and that is, I know there are a couple of oil and gas corporations here, so if you, once you get comfortable with what it is that we're trying to do together, we could, as a representative of this city or as part of the coalition, however you want to do this, we would like to present this idea to the oil and gas companies and say, look, here's how you can help, or you can be a responsible corporation and participate in this way. Just try to solicit what their ideas are and see what their level of support might be for the program. We also would, if you're behind doing this, of course you may not be interested in this, but I think that there's really economic benefit for everybody along the river. So when we do put in grant applications, we'd like for you to say that you're supportive of it. That would be helpful. And then the last but certainly not least, we are asking all of the municipalities along this stretch of the river to donate something, just to have a little skin in the game. So I'm not sure what your budget looks like and what the cycle is for you, but we are asking everybody to do their part and put in just a little bit, because what you're gonna get out of this whole effort is just a huge amount of diversion fixes and bank stabilization and water quality. We've got all these students at UNC who are going to participate and do some water quality monitoring. So it's going to be a huge benefit to everybody. So I hope that you consider participating for sure, and then seeing if you might be able to support us financially or just with helping us talk to the oil and gas companies. That would be really terrific. So, do you guys have any questions for me? Anything that we are currently, just in terms of time frame, we put a grant application in with CWCD, and they're going to decide about it in January. And if we get the money for this part of the stream management plan, we would start that probably March or April. We'll just start by having stakeholder group meetings, have a public meeting, just get the ball rolling.
What is the territory of the middle South Platte River covers?
We are from right where the St. Vrain Creek flows in, all the way up to the Cache-la-Poudre. So basically right, a little bit between you and Longmont, and then all the way up to just past Greeley, almost to Curzon.
Where did you get the funding for the first part of the?
Well, that's what we're asking the CWCB for. We asked them for about $42,000. We're gonna ask the South Platte Basin Roundtable for part of that, and then we're gonna be asking municipalities and places like, Ducks Unlimited and Northern Water and other entities.
So, any of this money from the flood, from FEMA and stuff like that?
No,
or
no.
That was all?
No, that's all winding down.
The money from the 60 project, though, that you showed, where did that money?
That was a DOLA grant. And they're actually, the DOLA grants they're just basically, they're winding down. They're not going to be giving anybody else any more money to do flood recovery. Now it's going to be, how do we sustain this, how do we improve this, and that'll end up being different sources of money. But the good thing about having the stream management plan is give you a context. The Colorado Water Plan has in place that they want to achieve 80% of all of the streams and rivers in Colorado be covered by a stream management plan. So this is a really important goal for them. They want that by 2030. So there are about 6 coalitions now that have one in place. There are about 4 or 5 that are applying and in the process of getting the ball rolling. And if you have questions, you can look on CWCD. I could send you guys links as well to right now one group that's just a little bit ahead of ours is the St. Vrain Left-Hand Creek Water Conservancy District. They've got a really good program going, and they're kind of 3 or 4 months into it. So they've had a few public meetings, they've had several stakeholder meetings, they've had a workshop with the agricultural community to help them understand what it is they're trying to do and how it's going to benefit them. So they're pretty far along. So if you wanted to look at their website, they've got a lot of good information about it.
The banks that you're building up, is that in, how are you going as high as for a 100-year flood or a 500-year flood?
I think that is the plan. The plan is to connect the river to the floodplains. A lot of places it's disconnected, sometimes by eroding banks, but I don't really know all of the science to it. But what they've done a bit of laying back the banks a little bit so there's more room for the river to overflow. And the plan is for sure to have the river, if we can. I mean, some of the property is owned by people that can't let it flood. So, we have to work around that. But the plan is to let the river reach its extent without really causing any trouble in a 100-year flood.
Okay. Do you know if you've had any luck reaching the property owners in our neck of the woods too?
I don't know that. I know we have a list of about years, but it's a few years old. So we did a master plan. I don't know if any of you were on the council or the board. That happened, pretty much right after the flood. 2014, we started it, 2016, we finished it. And that was just to identify the most, damaged areas, the ones that had the highest risk of having flood events happen that would cause catastrophic damage again. So they categorized every 12 reaches. They divided it up into little sections. So that we have on our website. You could look at that. It identifies all of the areas that are considered high risk. And so we have started. That's why the two ditch diversion structures they were both in high risk areas, and Highway 60 was a high priority item too. But there are more projects in there, and technically, we're not doing flood recovery anymore. It would be to alleviate the chance of another flood. So.
Are you also working with CDOT on the?
Yeah, that one section off of Highway 60 where they are building a whole new bridge, so we're kind of having to work with their design engineers, and the property owner who lives right along there is on our board, and every board meeting we hear about CDOT's not listening, and that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's difficult, right? Because everybody has a different need, and sometimes the science doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense from what you've seen things happen over the years. I'm learning an awful lot about just how raising the level of the river bed can change the flow rate, and just that one small thing can of course get you into the ditch diversion structure or not. If it's too low, it's not even going to get into the diversion structure. So there's a lot of geomorphology, things like that they talk about. I don't know what that is, but it's important.
Any questions?
Gaining access to the river for our citizens here in Platteville,
Right.
is that a good possibility?
Well, we would definitely be identifying some of the places, and I think as a coalition, we could be the go-between to talk with the landowner and see what kind of, if we would get state money or federal money or town money or a combination to buy a little spot or to buy an easement, whatever it is that is identified. The city of Evans has identified a few places, but really for them, there's not that much that's available to the public. So it would be a matter of working with the landowners and helping them see that it would be of benefit to them as well to have people coming in. People just having access to the river is important to the ecosystem itself. So just having that conversation and hearing what their concerns are and telling them what the benefits might be, helping them maybe get a little financial gain out of the deal, probably that helps them go. But yeah, that's part of the plan, is to figure that out. And I don't know how often would we want to place public access? I don't know.
I think that's a concern. A lot of people in the community want to have access, and we have a river right there, but we have no access to it.
Right.
And, they got the Platte River Trail that goes from Greeley all the way to Fort Collins now, and people, that's the kind of lifestyle that a lot of people are looking for, is having that access and that recreational.
Yeah, well, and it increases property values too. And so then that increases your tax base. But I haven't looked at the town of Greeley, but I know that the city of Evans has an extensive study just to talk about the recreational potential. And their plan is to work with all of the cities along here to connect to the Cascapooter Trail. And there also is a South Platte River Trail. I don't know that we could, where we are, we couldn't get all the way connected to that. That's all the way down like in Thornton, and then there's nothing. But that's the plan, is to just connect all those things together.
So back in 2011, the town partnered with Milliken, co-venture on the river trail master plan, and it went well, but when we got to the point of contact with the landowners that were vested along the river for access, that was extremely difficult.
Yeah, yeah, none of this is gonna be easy, that's the thing, and that's why we know it's gonna take at least a year just to have these conversations, because we've gotta build that level of understanding and then trust. First we have to understand each other, and then maybe they'll see that it's a benefit to them, or that we're all in it together kind of thing. It's a very complex endeavor. Did it just not go anywhere after that?
No, it pretty well shut down.
Yeah,
because-
okay.
And that was the goal, is we were going to, we're working on a trail system from roughly County Road 30 or County Road 28 up past Highway 60, past the confluence of the St. Vrain, and discussing what side and crossings and potential ownership partnerships, and we have a lot of like Magnus Land and Cattle. We have a lot of big companies that have control of river, that this is part of their business operations. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, and I had seen, I went to the workshop that the Left Hand Creek St. Vrain District did, and it was very interesting to hear from landowners who had good things to say about what happened, and the ditch companies that said, we have saved a ton of money on maintenance in fixing these things and putting in fish chutes, and so we need those landowners to talk to the other landowners. That's really what needs to happen, so that, because they're not gonna believe, you guys have an agenda, and they don't, they may not agree with it, but if they hear from somebody who's had a similar issue and found a positive resolution, then that's how it's gonna work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What authorities do you have to be able to make the changes in the river, or to do the stuff that you're doing in the river? Is that from the state or the?
Right. Well, you know what, I mean, in this sense, it would definitely be a collaborative. It would not move forward until everybody agrees on what the priorities are.
So everybody along the river has to agree to what, okay, we're gonna do this, and everybody has to have buy-in, and there's no like judges or legislators that are saying, this is what we're gonna do to.
Nope.
So it's just the people in the area that's affected agree to do this to the river, and
That's how it's
okay.
supposed to work, yeah, that's part of the Colorado Water Plan, is that it be a collaborative, community-focused, kind of endeavor. And so, for us, I mean, really, the first effort is just to say, what are your priorities? And one of the things one exercise that you can go through is to have a poster with different uses, different things that you would be concerned with, and you vote with a sticker, and you say, okay, I have 3 stickers, these are my top priorities, I'm gonna put them on this board exactly where I think our money ought to go. And so then you see the dispersion of all of the stickers, and you realize, oh my God, how are we ever going to come together, right? But you gather all that information and then present it back to the people who have been there, and then you just start talking. I have not been through this, but I hear that you say that, you want to get it done in 18 months, and it may not happen in 18 months because of the contentious nature of things. So we know that going in, and we'll have a facilitator who's been through this before, so they'll know kind of the things to anticipate, but also be able to, talk people in off the ledge if that happens. And one gentleman who has I think he's a 5th generation rancher, and he's been part of one of those plans, and he says, you know what, we have meetings, people get pissed, and they walk out, and just know that that's gonna happen. But usually they come back the next time, or maybe 2 times down the road. But so yeah, I mean, it's people are gonna get mad. But what the point is that we're gonna figure out the best way, because this river is not gonna get any better by nobody doing anything. This is gonna continue to erode. There's gonna be sediment flowing in from fires and from other events further upstream. And part of what we're doing is we're working with the other coalitions to help, so that their inflows will be improved, so that we have less to do on our side. So it's all everybody trying to work together and make this whole watershed really improve.
It's interesting.
Sounds like we're the furthest upstream coalition.
Yeah, for this.
What are you working with, further coalitions, northern, or further upstream there, like Thornton, Denver?
I
Do they
have talked to
have anything like
this
that?
one gentleman who's part of the South Platte River Coalition, and they're only doing just a little bit at a time because they're very small, which is interesting because they have like the hugest influence on, there's a lot more population down in their direction. But yeah, we're working together, and I was at the South Platte Basin Roundtable just last week, and so trying to get all of the coalitions moving in the same direction is one of their goals. They have a basin implementation plan, they call it BIT, and they have like a few different things that that they've laid out, and they're working on the next round of those. And this is, all of us are supposed to be coming together to fulfill those implementation plans.
What's the conversation like there about policing these areas that if we do get access, keeping it clean? Cause I mean, if I was a ranger and I have river access downstream
Yeah.
to all these locations that the public has access to, my concern would be the trash flow.
Right, now, so, what I know about that, and it's not a whole lot, I'm new to this coalition, but that is one of the things that the city of Evans is concerned about, like, just having a river access point. Well, that requires all sorts of things. It requires bathrooms, it requires lighting, it requires paving, it requires trash removal. So all of that would have to be included in the plan, and so I think the money will be coming from the state and possibly the federal. I'm looking at the Bureau of Reclamation maybe for a little bit of money. So there would be money to at least begin the projects and then discuss how we're going to fund that sort of thing, the maintenance kind of thing, basically what we're talking about.
I was just thinking, talking key points there for landowners in a meeting to reassure them that there's policies in place to maintain that. So their property downstream, if they don't wanna buy into this, they can, it's not peace of mind.
Right.
And that was one of the largest comments back from the meetings with the landowners, when the firm that was contracted with the Milliken partnership was the trash and accessibility concerns.
Yeah.
And that, which is a reality, what it is. But, and I'm surprised, FEMA or CDPHE and some of those large organizations aren't involved yet.
Yeah, well, FEMA counts itself as a disaster recovery kind of thing, and this is supposed to be going the next step beyond recovery and into building resiliency, so that we're ahead of any new events that happen. And I mean, and recreation as a part of that really, I think, is more an economic benefit to all of the towns that are along the river. So in that sense, there would be money coming in from the people who are coming in on float trips and fishing expeditions to pay for trash removal.
I know years ago, well, in 2011, the plan for Milliken was talking about their long-term plans when the mining of what's called the old Gilchrist Reservoir at the end of County 38 along the South Platte was completed, and they're actually going to start mining operations again. There's a private firm that bought part of it, and then the city of Aurora bought probably 2/3 of it for water storage. And that was going to be a long-term outdoor recreational amenity, but they had to partner with us because we own the only road that goes there.
Oh.
County 38.
Okay.
So I haven't heard anything for 7 years.
Well, I bet they got knocked off the rails by that flood.
Probably.
Right? So,
Sorry to interrupt you guys. It looks like on the middle South Platte.org, your website, look at the master plan and reports, that we fall outside of the project reach.
of that master plan, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Your southern scope is the confluence of the St.
Yeah.
Vrain going into the South Platte.
But you know what, I was talking with one of the engineers in Longmont, and he said, why don't you just go all the way out to 25? Because people here don't wanna worry about that. So why don't you just come up the St. Vrain a little bit? And I'm like, well, I think that'd be all right, but technically it's yours, so you might have to deal with that. You know, we're gonna work together, but, yeah.
So those boundaries aren't set in stone for this coalition, then?
No, they're not. I mean, that was what we were established to look at and to take care of, but, I mean, it really, actually, I heard, from my predecessors that they were actually talking about doing, going further up towards the North Platte, so, they were already talking about extending that direction, so I can't see why they wouldn't extend down this way too. But that, you know, it all depends on getting the funding to do it and getting the people who, you know, want the project to happen to come together.
I think it's safe to say Platteville's interested in sitting and working.
That would be great.
When you have another meeting, would you send me an invite so I can
A board meeting?
look into it?
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, I think, I'll try to get, Sean Cronin from the Conservancy District to come and speak so that everybody sees really way ahead of where we are, so we can tell you what's going on. And yeah, our next meeting is in December, like the 15th, which might be a little soon to get Sean to come, but would you be available to come in the middle of December?
I think so.
Okay, all right, well, I'll see if I can set that up.
That'd be great.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rose.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want me to shut this down, or? Okay, all right. Thanks so much. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. All right. And get a motion to approve the consent agenda. That includes the meeting minutes for November 6, 2018 regular meeting. Meeting minutes for November 13th, 2018 special meeting, the financials and the bills.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Action items, agreement for services, JVA Incorporated First Amendment, Mr. Rankin.
Thank you, Mrs. Graham. This agreement, to be clear, is beyond the scope of what JVA currently is under contract for with Town of Platteville. Dave and I met with JVA and members from Reptilis last Friday for 2.5 hours to talk about both the utility and the financial plan. I'll talk more after my report. And then we also had a conference call for about an hour today. But I had, going back about a month, I had talked to JVA about some of the information David and I obtained from the training that we went to with the state DOLA representatives and the state revolving fund, and the next steps with the process of trying to acquire both loans and funds and so on and so forth. JVA is working with a lot of municipalities on this specific thing. So I said, well, I'm curious, what would it be? Because it would, for two of the scope items, with the pre-qual meeting, the CDPHE, and the project needs assessment, which is also required to go after state revolving fund money, either we contract with them or we use our current engineer, Mr. Bethers. David reached out to Steve Bethers, and his recommendation, because this is their expertise, just use them, we're going to pay somebody. So not that I don't want to do the work, but that's their expertise. And I also asked him, during one of the meetings, I think Simon was the one that talked about the grants with DOLA and how he worked with the community to write grants and get DOLA funding, also USDA funding, and then go through the SRF process. So I asked him to throw me an estimate out, and this is what I received. I'm very comfortable with it. It's not that I don't want to write a DOLA grant, but I'm going to rely on their expertise and their language heavily, because I'm not a wastewater guy. Or be bugging David quite a bit. So this is such a high importance item in Platteville. I want to do the best job we possibly can. So I want to ask the board tonight for additional funding out of the sewer fund. And these are basically multi-year projects. This will go on for the next year, 2 years, because these are not quick. We want to start the pre-qual with CDPHE almost immediately. We need to start that right away with Liz Hunt, our portfolio health environment. And the key to this is we're trying really hard to qualify the disadvantaged community at DAC, because without that, we don't qualify for the potential $300,000 for design and engineering. We don't get any of that, we don't qualify by ZBAC. And it would potentially, as a disadvantaged community, we get lower interest, possibly zero interest instead of 2 or 3 or 4%. So this is my proposal tonight. I'd like to pursue it with, this would be an additional scope. The way I want to do it is basically amend their current agreement to include this aspect of it, is what I'm asking for to do. David, do you want to add anything else to that? So the total scope is $14,000 for these 3 items. The biggest one is the needs assessment, which is the most time consuming.
Would this be just one-time fee, or is that going to be more on a couple of years?
It's a one-time overall fee for these 3 scopes. So we stumble across, maybe some possible USDA funding, which we talked about. There's a lot more federal hoops to jump through with the USDA, but they may have something come up. So if we apply for a grant with USDA, if it comes up, and that may be something additional we'll talk about, but this just falls with the DOLA app. And $2,000 for DOLA app, I mean, I'd probably spend multiple weeks writing this DOLA application. And he's pretty much already got the format from other ones he's already written. So I'd work with him directly on that. The needs assessment, I mean, it's like David could probably explain, it's just an ongoing process with Liz as our contact at CDPHE. And it's basically an 18-month timeline from beginning to end. From when you do your pre-qual, all the way to where you secure your state revolving loan. Once we know what that is, because we won't know exactly until we find out we get DOLA grant. So, but those are some more details David and I will address at a future day when bringing for my staff report. So, that's my request.
I make a motion, we move to approve agreement for services JVA Incorporated First Amendment in the amount not to exceed $14,000, subject to review by legal counsel.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Mary.
Harold Leggett,
Yes.
Nick Ralston,
Yes.
Spencer Bradman,
Yes.
Troy Blum,
Yes.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Hope Morris.
Action item B, Kansas Highway Patrol vehicle purchased. Mr. Rankin?
As you well know, because I sent a message last night, Carl came in off yesterday afternoon and said, well, we have the ability to go ahead and pick up a replacement vehicle this year instead of next year. And I think we're 7th in line on the request list, but the issue is the other 6 in front of us have to wait till 2019. And the lieutenant, Kansas Highway Patrol contacted Carl and said, if you have the funds, we have one right now, which we don't know how long the crown will last. But long story short, we did budget money in the Law Enforcement Equipment Training Fund to do the CMAC vehicle, which is no longer available. We budgeted for next year roughly $25,000 to acquire a replacement vehicle, and another $10,000 for a contingency. But this year we still have $15,000 for replacement, $10,000 contingency. So there's $25,000 available in this current year budget that is in the budget. Doesn't even have to be amended. So
what, 2 cars then?
no, what I'd like to do is pursue the car this year, take the funding out of 2019 budget. Carl likes it.
How much is it for the car?
I was trying, Carl.
The car is, this afternoon, Carl received an official invoice of $24,250 for 2017 Police Interceptor utility all-wheel drive.
How many miles on it?
49,000. They're all 49,000. They're required to turn in 49,000.
Light bar is gonna be what you want, it's like fully equipped.
Yeah, the
I'm
used.
sorry, the white car?
The light bar,
Oh,
will it come with it?
yeah, so it has a light bar and a siren right now. At the very least, if we don't like the lights, because they're the inside lights, which is okay, we have some of our units that have the inside light bar. But on top, they can see more, I like the outside light bar is more safer on the highway. So at the very least, we get rid of the light bar, keep the siren package. And they just asked for $1,000 is what it was for the lights and the sirens for that car. Which is next to nothing compared to if we went wireless advanced, it'd be.
And that's included in the 24?
Yes.
Yep.
So it's something to try out. And basically what I'm asking to do is just use the funds this year and take the funds out of next year that we budgeted and just delete that, so we'll just get it a year early.
You have to pick it up, or they deliver.
That is the best question.
Well, thank you.
Because with stops, it's about a 10-hour drive to Topeka, Kansas, which is the Kansas Highway headquarters. I've made that trip many times, doing cars.
Well,
3 hours.
But actually,
It's amazing what happens when you got the lights on, right?
That's better where the trees fell.
easy on me, Larry, okay, I mean, you can't afford, but. Carl did some research and he found a one-way trip to Kansas City for an officer for $48.98. State Patrol will go to Kansas City, pick him up, take him back to Topeka, he buys a car and just drives it home. Pretty cheap trip.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get a ticket for speeding on the way.
He's got light bars on. Yeah. We've done multiple ways. We bought multiple cars when I first became chief. I took 3 of them out there with me. We picked up 3 cars. I went there 1 year with Public Works, Todd's old Public Works truck and trailer, and I hauled 1 back.
Speak of it, what do you think?
No, $48 one-way trip
On a plane.
on the airplane.
On an airplane?
Yes.
This is what he's gonna do on Monday if the board approves this. He's gonna go here Monday.
Out of DIA?
DIA to KCI,
Mhm.
and then it's about 45-minute drive from Topeka to Topeka.
There's more people there if we got it.
We'll be looking at vacations there, Larry.
This question may be better suited for our final budget study session, but is there another vehicle that will need to be replaced next year that should just leave the funds alone and just fund what you budgeted?
We're gonna have to revisit that, because right now the fund balance in the law enforcement equipment training fund is around $73,000. So he could easily take this. And then based upon next year's estimate, we'll take a closer look at that. We could leave it in there. It'll just deplete right now I'm looking at, it'll deplete down to probably 40,000, 30,000 maybe. I don't know exact numbers yet. But that's something and talk about the last budget, the last budget conversation will be December 4th, so that'll be a long conversation, or it could potentially be. So, what I'll do is I'll just, leave the budget as is for now. Say it's budgeted for next year, and we just don't need to use it, we won't use it. So we can go that route too. That'll make Carl happy.
Yeah, I think we have 1 or 2 more that have 109,000, 117,000 are the next ones that will have to be. So I mean, it may last another year or 2.
Are the next 2 the 2 Chargers?
The new Chargers will have to be replaced, and they're well over 100,000. They should last another year, theoretically.
How many miles do we push these before we look for replacements?
It depends on the car. The one that we're replacing now has 119 or something on the Vic. So I think because we ride them hard, with the exception of supervisors and whatnot, they don't last as long as regular cars would if you were nice to them. So
Let's see, how many miles per year ballpark per,
ooh,
sorry.
I'd have to get back to you on that one. Yeah, I'm not, if I said right now, it would just be a guess.
When I used to submit those CMAQ grants, we'd estimate 20 to 25.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. It just depends on the unit and the rotation. Because there's always been a long debate. It's like, well, why do we have so many cars? Well, when I started, we had 3 cars for 7 officers. And we would replace one every year because it would just not hold up. And especially if you have one in the shop, you're in dire needs. And that's why we started picking up vehicles. And even though they sit, we're keeping them longer. We're maintaining them better. And I think people sometimes question me on that, and I have to explain that to them.
And we have SROs also, so they get their very own car at the schools. That wipes out 2 cars.
So you put the high mileage cars with SROs, so that
Yes.
way they're,
Yeah, Matt is babying the Crown Vic as we speak.
So, do we know what the maintenance records are on this car? I mean,
Yes.
highly maintained, I mean, you could have 49,000 vehicle here, 49,000 mile vehicle here. It could be totally different, one could be a limit. My concern is picking this up and then just putting maintenance into this vehicle to keep it running. To get another 50,000 miles.
Yeah.
When I was a chief in St. Mary's, just outside Pecos, when I came upon the program, and I went and toured their facility, it is literally a white glove maintenance program that they have. They have the highest maintenance records in Kansas, for what that's worth, but it is Kansas. But I had a friend when I was in St. Mary's that lived on the same block that was a state patrol, and he said once a month they have inspections, and he dreaded it because they literally put white gloves on. And the engine had to be completely spotless, no grease, no dust. He crawled underneath and started piping the bottom of the engine. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, so we've never had any problems with picking them up.
Okay.
So we get back and alternator goes out. I mean, those are the chance you take, but
This is the 4th one we would have purchased from Kansas Highway Patrol.
probably over the years,
Okay.
at least 4, probably 5th.
So, pretty good reputation.
The 2 Chargers are from Kansas. The Crown Vic's from Kansas. And we've looked around, just so that the board members know, we've looked at Wyoming, we looked at Denver PD, New Mexico, Texas. Most of them have turned in programs, but they're at 80 to 90,000. Kansas is the only one that turns them at 49,000. So, and we always try to get that detective or admin car. I mean, they don't tell us it is because they're babied more.
Yeah. Not right.
No. But you never know. They used to tell me, but now they don't tell us anymore.
And previously budgeted for a new vehicle, and then another 10 to get everything put in, radio, light bar, everything like this. And this is not a base model, but we have pretty much something to work with. And I guess per se, already has lights, already has siren, radio. I mean, this is almost already equipped for what you're gonna need for service. Or do we need to make more modifications, add-ons, besides the light bar that we discussed there?
Sure, so the radio that's in there now won't work here. So that won't even have a radio, so between the radio and we'll see what the light bar looks like, the siren's likely fine. We're well ahead of the game, so I have to get, certain stuff on the outside of the cars. We have to make the light, lights on the mirrors are important, so we still have to make it like you would like it, but, we're well ahead of the game having the lights and sirens on there. But it'll still be several thousand, not as much as if we had to buy the light bar on the siren, but it'll still involve a little money to get all the stickers on the sides and whatnot.
But we're not just starting with the base model, building up. I mean, it's kind of
Right.
a mid-level, I guess, already in service that we can work with.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
I make a motion to approve the purchase of the available Kansas Highway Patrol vehicle using 2018 budget appropriations to fund and authorize the mayor to execute purchase agreement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Mary.
Nick Ralston,
Aye.
Spencer Bradnan,
Aye.
Troy Blum,
aye.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Hope Morris, Harold Leggett.
Aye.
Can I ask a question on the same vein of the police cars? And I don't know that this will ever happen, what would it take for the town to be able to give a car to every officer to take home? Is that a thing that could ever happen, or because our officers live so far away and the maintenance costs just isn't feasible, or what does that look like?
Boy, that's been discussed a few times.
Yeah.
Here, have a hot potato.
Well, I've never heard of it, so I'm gonna do it again.
Give you a short answer, then I'm gonna punt it to a study session, because honestly, but, give you an example. I mean, there's been a debate back and forth. Years ago, I went down to Albuquerque for training, and I met their police chief in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Believe it or not, every patrol officer in Albuquerque, New Mexico has a take-home car. and they're allowed to take it grocery shopping, to the movies, whatever they want. They put in a program with a high visibility. The caveat is they also had to respond to calls, felonies in progress, and they had to carry their weapon. Of course, they had to follow all of the department policies. It helped reduce crime significantly in Albuquerque, but when I asked about maintenance, he said, in the long run, they also take care of cars that they maintain, they don't share. So their maintenance started going down. But, you know, you have to look at the additional cost for fuel and so on and so forth. My thing, when we used to have take-home cars, not just for the chief, but also for the detective and the sergeant, is that they had to live within a very small response radius, response time, and they had to secure the vehicle on a private property. They couldn't leave it parked on the street because of vandalism. So that was a very brief part of that conversation, but there's much more to it.
Thank you.
But as far as our fleet's concerned, you know, with the existing fleet we have and one, maybe two more cars, I mean, we have enough. Yeah, except the SROs. SROs only take them.
Does Carl take his car home?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He's on call all the time, so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trey.
Yep.
All right, moving on to reports. Chief Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have nothing to really add. I wish I could say that we're slowing down. We're not. That's just the reality of it. So we're working with the seniors for Santa Cop stuff. Some of them are very interested in assisting with us there. So we're working on that with the schools and a couple of walk-ins and whatnot. Working accidents like no other. So other than what's in my report, I have nothing to add.
When will the officers be doing Santa Cops? Roughly, do you know? As far as delivery?
So they usually have them wrapped and ready for us at the beginning of the next month.
Okay.
And then we need to work out with the officers for the two towns, and we usually.
And the referrals are still going through both the schools, is that correct?
Or walk-ins, yeah.
Or
If anybody
walk-ins,
knows
yeah.
anybody that needs some help, absolutely let us know.
Are
You don't have to be a kid.
soliciting for gift donations as well?
We accept them, and what happens. We used to hang on to them all year, waiting till next year, and then waiting till next year, and we have a heap of toys. So what ends up happening, we for sure accept them, and we hook them up. We hook up the kids. Like, we wrap them, and we not only get the ones from the Santa Cops, but the walk-ins, and we really, I don't know, we hook them up. So yeah, absolutely. If you have anything, we'll take it.
One year, Caltrack donated a big box, and the Dollar General also put a box in their store one year, and people just buy some small toys and throw them in there. And even if it's, Matchbox cars or whatever, you can add things to a bigger gift.
I just wondered, because I haven't seen any, like, advertisements for donations for, so I wasn't sure if it was something you already had plenty of stuff, or if you were looking for more stuff to get.
Yeah, in years past, we haven't had a whole lot of advertising. We were going to make flyers and just kind of hang them up, and maybe on our sites or something like that.
Even on social media posts would probably
Yeah.
cover you most of the way.
Yeah, so that's for sure in the works. And like I said, I know that they had a meeting at the schools in regards to anyone in need of Santa Claus stuff. So.
To change the subject on that, Carl, I was thinking about this over the last couple of days, and we had that train accident this morning, and I was thinking about, they're doing some stuff on the news about PTSD with firefighters and stuff, and I was thinking about you guys. When your officers have a tragic event like that, and do you debrief them, and do they have a chance to go talk to a counselor or something, or what kind of process do we have in place for the officers to get the help they need?
Sure. So in high risk sort of stuff, or tragic kind of stuff like this, we all usually meet. We have a meeting, and then there are resources out there. We link with Will County Sheriff's Office. Those, even if they want to stay here or somewhere in their area, we link with the Methodist Church, St. Nicholas Church, in case they wanted to talk to somebody in regards to that. So we have the resources, and we absolutely made sure that we take the proper steps to ensure that they stay healthy in their mind and emotionally, psychologically.
Do we have something with our town insurance company to have the funds available for them to go to counseling and stuff like that?
There's been at least twice since I've been here that we've had, the officer involved shooting back in 2010. 2 officers involved with that, plus all of the officers have always experienced that impact. And there's another incident that, like, to add on to what Carl said, we do have the resources. What I did then is, depending on the situation, because some of every situation is horrible when you deal with the death or fatality or critical incident like that. But sometimes you deal with child abuse cases and so on and so forth. But there's a group that actually Gary Sandow, our former fire chief, was part of. They're specially trained to come in, the former firefighters and law enforcement, and they're trained to provide mental counseling because they've gone through it, so the officers can relate better to them. We did that back in 2010. And then if they need additional counseling through a more professional setting, then we do provide that. We pay for it. Okay. We do it.
Thank you. I just was been watching on the news about the firefighters and
Thanks for caring.
They're dealing with stuff, and and I think that you guys are dealing with the same kind of incidents that they're dealing with and coming up on some little scenes. So
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Chief Glenn? All right, thank you, Chief. We'll move on to Mr. Brand.
Thank you, Mrs. Mayor. I do have a couple of items to add to my report tonight, but I will make them fairly short and sweet. Under the wastewater system, Troy will probably address it a little bit more. We're looking at a special meeting on December 11th for the final presentation. I hope I didn't steal anybody's thunder by bringing that up, but
All the questions come to you now.
From JVA and from Ruptalis for them to finalize the report and get it put together. Originally we were shooting for that time frame. We were thinking we might actually have a presentation today or the first meeting in December, but because of the delay in actually getting them started, we ended up, starting the process towards late August, early September versus July when we originally thought we were going to kick it off. So we're still, they're still looking to make the presentation to the North Front Range Water Quality Planning Association in December, so we can start the 60-day public comment period on that presentation there. So they're going to make the presentation to us. They're still, literally, Troy and I spent an hour on the phone with them today going over some more operation and maintenance costs, some refining of the actual cost estimate for the SBR and MBBR processes. Excuse me, they had given us some numbers last week that they had realized needed to go up some, so but they will be making all that presentation to the board on the 11th. So that one, under the last bullet item, I had commented last month that we had had some issues keeping the chlorine, and we had a violation on our discharge permit from the lagoon. Talked with some experts over the last week or so, and they asked me some very poignant questions, and were able to dial it in. And they're like, well, basically you had too much algae and you didn't skim off the duckweed before the end of the season, and it all died off on you and created this. And they named off every symptom we had, and they were like, well, yep, that's pretty much what it was. They said what's interesting is several lagoon systems around Colorado for the last 2 to 3 years, they've been seeing some significant changes like that, whereas they never had those issues in the past, or they weren't as significant. I mean, we've always seen the pond turnover in the spring and in the fall. That's just normal. That's part of the normal operation. But we've never had that kind of a die-off, or I've never skimmed duckweed off the top of the pond. We've had duckweed there for the whole 10 years that I've been here and that kind of thing. So I'm not sure
what our steps will be next year to try and catch that, arrest that before it happens, or if we're just gonna roll with the punches and see if it happens, and if it does, we'll write a letter to the state and say, oh yeah, by the way, you're making us build a new treatment facility that'll cure this in the next couple of years, you know, or what the case will be. So, and then I apologize, I had sent Mary the report. I'm gonna hand out if everybody would grab one, it's the information that Central Will County sends to us at the end of the season or the beginning of the season, depending on how you want to look at it. The second page and the shorter one on that is them telling us that basically our demand charge is going from $10,372 a month to $10,880 a month. And we already had that number built into the budget, so that's not any surprise for any of you. But the other thing that we did want to bring to your attention is the first letter that's dated, or the letter that's on top that's dated November 2nd. This is our raw water transfer and carryover. It's something that Troy and I have dealt with behind the scenes for the whole 10 years that I've been here, but I've always kind of brought it up after the fact versus you know, let you guys know up front before we make a decision on it and that kind of thing. In the second paragraph, it points out that Northern Water provides a 50% allotment to Central Will County of the 854 shares that we have. They provide a 50% allotment. So right now, as of November 1st, we have 428 shares credit with Central Well. Well, as you can see at the bottom of the letter, or at the bottom of that paragraph, they're thinking we're about 111 acre feet short of what we're going to need next year. So and basically what that works out to is we have a carryover. We had some leftover water this year, so we've got a carryover at $43.50 an acre foot. If we carried all 171.2 acre feet, it'd be $7,447.20. If you go to the second page that has the table on it, the chart, that shows our consumptive history from November of 2017 through the end of October this year. And you see three significant numbers. The column to the right, that's just to the left of the darker column there, the raw water transferred acre feet. You can see November 2017, they gave us the 426. That's the 50% allotment from from Northern Water. And then you can see in March of 2018, we bought 100 acre feet because we didn't know. The other part of that letter is we have to make our decision by April 1st. I think it is. And Northern Water doesn't make the second allocation or second quota adjustment until April 15th. So we have to make a decision ahead of time whether we're going to take our chances on getting the water from Northern, or if we're going to go ahead and pay for that carryover water. So last year we carried over 100 acre feet, and then you can see in April they made the decision to give us another 30% quota, which was the equivalent of another 255 acre feet. So in essence, we didn't need the 100 acre feet last year. So we're playing the game again. We're looking at it. We're trying to figure out. I've got some feelers out trying to get an idea of whether Northern in April is going to give us 10% more to a 60% quota, if they're going to give us a 20% to a 70% quota, if they're going to go 30% again, which in the 10 years I've been here, this is only the second time they've gone 30%, where they've given us an 80% quota on it. So probably because we're conservative, we'll probably go ahead and gamble with only buying 100 shares, assuming that we probably won't need much, if any, of it. The other side of the coin is Troy and I are having a discussion next week with Northern Water about exactly what the process would be. We get requests on a regular basis from oil and gas to buy bulk water from the town. So we've always, because town code says no on that, we haven't ever agreed to do that. We don't have the liberty to do that. But one thing we're gonna do is check with Northern Water and find out what hoops we'd have to jump through with them if we came back to the board and we decided, as a town, that, you know what, we could make a little extra on the water if we got the extra water. If Northern ends up giving us a decent allotment, that we have this kind of an excess, then maybe it would be worth potentially selling it at a, you know, obviously a greater rate than what we sell to our residential customers for bulk water. And see if that would be a potential another income stream for the water fund. It's just trying to think outside the box and look at other options. So just wanted to, I probably took longer than I needed to just let you know about that, but just wanted to give you that information so you guys knew what we are looking at. And then the last thing I wanted to add is Troy and I had a meeting today with Journey Homes. They're going to finish installing the last of that fence. They've done a really nice job in behind the homeowners over there on the west side of Rogers Farm for piling. And they are, they're going to finish up the last piece of that beginning of next week. And that's the portion that's going to be right along the town's property on the west side, that west berm above the detention pond over there. So, unless you have any other questions on my written report or questions on what I just discussed, that's all I have this evening.
The Christmas decorations look awesome. Thank you.
The guys get credit for that. They did a good job getting them up so far. They were bragging we beat Fort Lupton, at least with the ones on the light poles, so.
That's a big deal. Any other questions or comments for today? All right, thank you, David. Moving on to Mr. Rankin.
I told George you had 10 minutes.
Oh,
This
I'm sorry. There's Kendra's report as well.
put her on the spot. Hillary's here for the executive, so. Just to add to what David mentioned, so December 11th, let me explain that. I talked to Larry and Adrian and bring staff on Monday morning. The schedule for next month right now is December 4th and 18th regular meetings. Right now we don't have anything too pressing on the 18th, and there's been some years when it falls close to Christmas, we even cancel the meeting. So what I asked, what I told Adrian and Larry that I mentioned to the board tonight, is I'd like to just cancel the 18th meeting, just have a special meeting on the 11th, so we'll still have 2 meetings. And then the action items will be addressed, but the focus on December 11th, that second Tuesday in December, will be the utility financial plan presentation. Dave and I have all the information just from last Friday and today. I really don't want to share that with you because I'm not prepared to, and I need Brian with Rob Tellis and Simon and Shane and probably Kevin Tunnell, the owner of JV, to be present to address those specific questions we have. Dave and I have some very rough ballpark estimates on the increases. They may take you back a little bit, they may not. So, but it's going to be an impact to the community, but it's something that I really want to publicize to the community, get information out there to the community before December 11th. Really stress that this is, for the next 20 years, this is going to be a key financial impact to all of us that live here on the utility bill. So I don't want to go in a lot of detail. I want to reserve that for the December 11th, but the numbers are starting to come in. And I did, when I told Larry and Adrian on Monday, they were researching those 2 types of treatment facilities. It's called the SBR and the MBBR. There's over $1 million difference between the 2. The SBR is a little cheaper, and it will do what we need to do. So I said, just focus on the SBR system. I don't want to pay for something we looked at long-term maintenance, you know, because if the SBR in the long-term costs more to operate than the MBBR, don't ask me to tell you what those mean. David probably could. Then we look at maybe doing a little bit more upfront expense and then less expense in the long run. But at the 20-year estimations for O&M, operation maintenance, is really, there's really no difference. It's very nominal. So that's how we're going to pursue that. That's a very important meeting on the 11th that we want to schedule. So, and like I said, if anything else that comes up, we can address it there, and that could be used for staff reports tonight as well, if Dave and Carl are available. The December 4th, we will still pursue adopting the budget for 2019.
So December 11th at 7 p.m.
At 6:30.
At
It'd be a
6:30.
special meeting. Well, we can have it 7 p.m., but, I told JB that the board could bump up a little bit sooner because they have long travel times.
Is that okay with everyone? 6:30? Yeah, 6:30.
Okay, 6:30 on December 11th, and then regular time on December 4th. And then at the December 4th meeting, there'll be an action time to cancel the 18th meeting and do a special meeting on the 11th. And David's right, that fence, that Crow Creek construction put in, we talked to Joe Schumacher today, looks awesome, they did a marvelous job. They reshored the side for erosion, and do some seeding
They
over
put
it.
a footer down in the.
They have was it a 3-foot or 2-foot footer with drainage for each lot. They did it, I thought they did an exceptional job. We met with them, they want to finish up. There won't be a footer on the town side. They're gonna move the fence farther back, so there won't be a need for a footer for erosion. They're just gonna do a 4-foot chain link fence.
Okay.
And I went a little bit wider there, that way we can get on both sides of that for maintenance. So they're gonna, pour the fence post tomorrow on concrete and then leave for the weekend, not to bother anybody over Thanksgiving, they'll come back on Monday. And they'll probably wrap it up early this week. And the ditch, I heard they were meeting with Frank Eckhart, the presidents and the ditch board members, they're very pleased. So this is finally getting resolved. So, other than my written report, I addressed some questions. If you have any, I want to just add a couple things. On Monday, I visited with the seniors briefly, and Curtis Mork has pretty much assigned or volunteered to do donations for the senior bus, and it looks like there's over 8,000 already in the fund. Our match is around 12.5. We haven't even sold the senior van yet, so Curtis was pretty confident, along with many of the seniors, that they probably just, the town probably won't contribute a whole lot to their bus. I mean, they'll do their own, do the donations. Curtis just got, was a $2,500 check from Anadarko this last week, so pretty good. Last thing is I did get one bid today, not a bid, but an offer for the old shop, 410 Goodrich. I called the gentleman, because I showed it to him last Friday after work, and I said, I didn't have any offers for the board, so I didn't schedule it for the meeting, so we're going to move it to December 4th. So that'll be a December 4th action item to consider offers. I do think I'll probably get 2 or 3 more, but before then, because I've showed it at least 6 or 7 times and had at least that many phone calls about inquiring. So it can be used for multifamily. There's all kinds of ideas. Just fix it up and use it as a personal shop. Someone use it more of a business. I said that would be a rezoning issue with the planning commission, because it's multifamily. It's not just a principal use. There's 2 people that asked me about just scraping and building duplexes for rentals. I said that's fine, that meets code. But that west wall is on the property line, so it's not conforming structure. So by code, it cannot be added on, it can just be renovated as is. So, that's coming up, and I'm hoping on the 4th we can sell that, and after 30 days of notice through ordinance, and we already have the title insurance commitment from the title company, we should be good to go. Otherwise, that's all I have, and as I mentioned, Lori's here for the next part with the board. So any questions you may have, I can address. I am taking tomorrow off, and maybe tomorrow I'm gonna go golf with my son. Sorry, Larry. It's gonna be 62 tomorrow, Larry. Maybe 60. I don't think it was yours on the golf course. It may be rust. I would love to. Eddie would love that.
I'll charge up and ready to go.
Yeah, I wish I could, but when I first came here, since you brought it up.
Wait a minute now.
When I was in Kansas, you're allowed most of those courses to buy your own, and then you just pay like a small $5 path fee, and you just take your own home. But in Colorado, you're not allowed to do that. You gotta get some money. So,
Maybe we should all move back to Kansas. What do you think? I'll go if you will.
I could buy a house equivalent to mine for about $110.
Let's go.
Because there's no jobs.
We need to work.
Pretty tired. Anyway, is there any questions for me?
Any questions for Troy?
Alright.
Alright. I don't have anything else to add. I have a Highway 66 Coalition meeting on December 14th at 7:30 in the morning. So I'll be attending that. The 14th.
The 14th.
Yeah, so we didn't wanna do it one on Thanksgiving and one on
okay.
Christmas, so we put one in the middle in early December.
Gotcha.
That's where we moved it to.
Okay.
And then we don't have, yeah, usually it's the fourth Friday of the month in the morning, so we moved this one. Yeah, just working on stuff for committees, sending out applications to citizens.
When do you anticipate having the first informal meeting?
I was just going through and checking, probably the second week in December. So start getting on, letting people know when that's gonna be. Because I want the first meeting I want to have everybody come all at once, all the committees. And then we'll discuss and then separate from there. And there's several people who want to serve on more than one committee too. So we can work that out with scheduling and everything, so that would be fantastic. Alright.
Also, Angel Town Christmas Party is December 7th, that Friday, so again, contact everyone in the area, if some of the office, let them know. Sign up, we'll be at the event center if you help.
That was a good time. Any other questions before the board? All right, I entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session.
We gotta read this. Let's just read this. I make a motion to move to adjourn to executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-402 for F, to consider personnel matters and specifically the annual performance evaluation of the town manager.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we will move to executive session. Oh, yeah.
And then meet with her first.
That would be perfect, thank you.